Good morning, Digit fam. Adam Dowd here, and today we're going to talk about choices or lack thereof. Sometimes you get to choose who you work with, sometimes the choices are made for you. Still, other times there is no real choice, there's a pretend choice, but it's not really a choice. And what the hell are you talking about, Adam? Let's find out. It is April 17th, 2019, and this is your Digit Daily. So hey, this happened. Apple and Qualcomm are buddies again. Aw, isn't it nice that everything's so nice? Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. The other way is to point out that the balance of power in the mobile world has a new king, and it's not anyone who makes phones. It's the one who allows you to make phones, and that one is Qualcomm. Okay, that might be a touch dramatic, but allow me to explain. On the day that Apple attorneys likened Qualcomm's chips to Kentucky Fried Chicken, literally, Apple and Qualcomm settled out of court. So they're friends now. Whoa, Adam, back that up. Did you say chicken? Actually, I did. Apple attorney Ruffin Cordell, which is, by the way, one of the most awesome names ever, said that Qualcomm's policy for selling chips was like KFC, who refuses to sell you a bucket of chicken before you go to another counter called Kentucky Fried Licensing and buy an eating license. Then you can go buy the chicken, which you then eat. This is crazy, although it should be mentioned that Chicago Bears season tickets work in a similar way. You have to buy a seat license before you can buy season tickets. I'm not even making this up. Google it. But anyway, it turns out that Kentucky Fried Qualcomm isn't so bad because Apple and Qualcomm love each other again. Long story short, no more court battles, no more lawsuits. Presumably China can sell iPhones again. And Apple is giving Qualcomm money too. So what changed? In a word, 5G. Wait, is 5G a word? I mean, it's two characters and they're a number and a letter and it's not really... Anyway, never mind. In a word, 5G. Apple needs to offer 5G and it needs to do it hard. There are a few dozen city blocks out there that have all the 5Gs and no one to use them. Apple wants to use them, but Qualcomm is the only game in town. I mean, there are other games in town, but they all suck. It's kind of like Green Bay, Wisconsin. Sure, you can wear your local high school track team's colors if you want, but come on, that will not get you a high five at the deli counter. As it turns out, Intel not only is that high school track team, but that school's athletics funding just got cut. They can't even afford to cut the grass anymore, let alone... Okay, this metaphor is dead. Moving on. Long story short, Intel announced that it is getting out of the 5G game. Not that they were ever really in it. So Apple has settled and now will play nice with Qualcomm because Qualcomm is basically the only choice. Pardon the cliche, but it's kind of like an arranged marriage, but it's to literally the only woman in town. Now, it should be mentioned that this is 100% fear of missing out on Apple's part. As I mentioned, 5G is available in almost 24 markets, but it's generally confined to a few city blocks in each market, and that's it. We won't see widespread 5G markets until 2020 at the earliest. But you know what we will see? Or hear about it, as it were, 5G in Chicago. I'll have more details tomorrow, but stay tuned for a special edition Friday podcast from downtown Chicago and all the 5Gs. Anyway, back to Qualcomm and Apple. There's a lot more to this story, so hit us up on digit.com or crack open that newsletter that you have undoubtedly already subscribed to and read all about it. What I gave you is more the TLDR version. It's a lot more juicy than what I could cover in a 7-minute podcast. And you want to know how crazy yesterday was? That's not even the only top story. There's more, but fortunately we can sum those up in our roundup. Wired got an exclusive on Sony's next-generation PlayStation. Sony has been building it for 4 years, which seems... not fast. This new console has an AMD processor, new GPU with ray tracing, support for 8K visuals, 3D audio, and 4H controls. Okay, I made one of those up, but I'm not telling you which one. This new console won't be coming in 2019, so, well, I guess that makes it 5 years then, huh? Better be good. Microsoft announced a new all-digital version of the Xbox One S, and as the name suggests, there is no slot for physical media. This is an all-download, all-the-time machine, which is great and seems to speak to me directly. I'm all about those digital downloads, but here's the thing. They released it for the same price as the Xbox One S, which does have a slot for physical media and can still download games, so what? In this case, you're getting everything the old version had, except you're missing something, which is crazy. It'd be like if, I don't know, Samsung released an all-Bluetooth edition of the Samsung Galaxy S10 with all the same specs, but no headphone jack. I really don't see that being a big seller. The Google Play Store may finally start offering simultaneous app downloads. Like finally, and did I mention the finally part? One of the more frustrating experiences on Android is the current one app at a time download model, which, when setting up a new phone, can take a while. I mean, I get it. Trying to install multiple apps at the same time might tax the system resources a bit, but being able to download more than one at a time is probably one of those features that should have been there from the beginning. Better late than never, I guess. And from the Tristan News Desk, he penned an opinion on the Galaxy Fold and the fact that reviewers are surprised that this phone doesn't have water resistance. Not so much surprised, but they're actually dinging the phone for not having it. I mean, folks, this is a phone that folds. This is a remarkable feat of engineering, and it's also a first-gen product, by the way. You might be asking too much from your tech. It folds, people. Folds. Jeez. Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey says it's time to rethink the fundamental dynamics of Twitter. Dorsey says at the beginning of the service, the emphasis was placed on followers, and that was probably wrong. He also says, in retrospect, that he shouldn't have created a like button at all. He says he wants the platform to focus on conversations, not numbers, and at the same time, he says one of the metrics by which he measures success is daily active users. So, which is it, bro? How about you just make an edit button? We'll call the whole thing square, huh? And finally, 5G is going to be super great, right? Well, not for meteorologists, the folks that predict the weather. As it turns out, supercomputers analyze a ton of data and use that to predict what will happen next. The result is 10-day forecasts that are reasonably accurate and a 3-day forecast you can set your watch to. Unless you live in Chicago, then you're screwed. Anyway, the data that supercomputers are crunching generally comes from satellites looking down and detecting moisture, wind patterns, things like that. But the frequencies that 5G will be using may start to interfere with those satellites, and that's kind of a problem. I mean, we don't know for a fact that it will cause problems, but it's theoretically possible that with the rollout of 5G, the rest of the world may get weather forecasts as accurate as those in Chicago, and that's a scary prospect indeed. But that's going to do it for today's Digit Daily. If you'd like to learn more about any of these stories, check out the links in the show notes and subscribe to our daily newsletter on Digit.com. And if you like what you heard, subscribe, leave a review, and don't forget to tell your friends about DigitDailyPod.com. Once again, I'm Adam Dowd, Dead Technology on Twitter, and we'll talk again tomorrow.